Hey, it's Vanessa, and welcome back to Born to Build the New. In today's episode, we are talking about protecting your energy and why that is especially important for those of us that are born to build the new. Before I get into any of the details, and also before I introduce myself, I want to direct you over to vasmith.com/intuition. At the end of this week, I'm kicking off what I call the Intuition Experiment. And it's a month-long Q&A over text of you being able to ask any and all questions around something that's up for you personally, something that's been on your heart, anything related to your purpose work and your build, big consciousness questions, questions around the collective, or simply wanting to understand how to operate from a more energetic and intuitive perspective. Not only is that going to give you a different kind of relationship to whatever it is that you're experiencing, but it also gives you an expanded sense of identity. Oftentimes when we are triggered or our buttons are pushed, or we're just trying to figure out how to make our next moves in the world, we have an attachment to what we think is possible, what we think we're capable of, how it's all going to unfold. But when you start to look through the lens of energy and intuition, you're able to see so much more of what's available to you, what's actually available to you, than you did before. This also connects directly in with protecting your energy, but I'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. So go over to vasmith.com/intuition. Join us in the next month to explore all sorts of questions from the different people that pose them, see what that sparks in you, and start to learn how to move through the world from that energetic and intuitive lens. This will help you build what you're here to build. Now, as always, I'd love to introduce myself for those of you that are new to my world. I'm Vanessa Smith. I'm the host of Born to Build the New, an energy guide and identity seer, and love to talk about the paradigm shift that we're in right now and your specific role within it, because you were born with a certain set of gifts and talents and passions that you're meant to be synthesizing together and using them to build a new paradigm. You have a very specific role that you play in the larger shift that's happening right now. And the more clear you are on what that role is, and the more claimed you act by actually applying your gifts and building the new, then the more that new paradigm is going to take root. And that's what we're here for. This podcast, really, it's going over the journey, the mess, the mission, all the stuff in between, even when we're in between versions of ourselves. So you can get more in touch with your own energy, the identity or version of you that's meant to lead your calling, and a deeper sense of alignment with how your soul's work is meant to be structured, because your soul's work is not generic. You are not generic. You cannot follow a generic template. You're meant to set up the build of what you're here to do in a way that's really unique and aligned to you. And that's what I help support you with more on that one-on-one level. And if you're interested in that, you can still go to my site. It's vasmith.com/alignment if you wanted that specific type of support with structuring your soul's work. Now, let's talk about protecting your energy. I had a completely different topic I wanted to unpack this week, But this past weekend really brought home how important it is to be protective of our energy and how essential it is for me to be bringing back in the energy and intuitive lens more forefront to everything that I talk about. Oh, in the past couple of years, I have been through a lot of very human trials and tribulations, lots of grief, lots of health challenges, financial challenges. I mean, like, you name it. It was kind of like throw it all at me at once and let's see if she can still stand up at the end of it. And sometimes I could not. Sometimes I just needed to lay down. And so it was quite intense from that human perspective. And I understand knowing who I am and also knowing my larger design charts, right? Astrology, human design, and gene keys, that this is meant to be a bit of a bumpy ride, my particular life. And that those that I serve often have a lot of bumps and challenges along the journey as well. So they are born to build anew, yes, but there's a lot of stuff that they bump up against in that process. And how that's related to protecting your energy is that when you're in the very vulnerable very human state of being challenged, of feeling like you don't know which end is up or which direction to move in or how to work through even just the basics of being stuck. It's like you can have all the perspective in the world, but as soon as you're in the pit or in some sort of a dip of any kind, we can lose even not just a broad perspective, but the sense of being more than human, like the sense of our soul. We can lose a sense of connection with that. And when that happens, not only do we feel more vulnerable, but we're also more susceptible to, I don't love the term energetic attack, but let's just put it this way. There is a lot of energy moving around in the world right now. And I know that for myself and those that I serve and am speaking to, we're the sensitive bunch. We feel it, we pick it up, we can get knocked over by it, we can get drained by it. And it absolutely does impact our ability to build what we're here for. There are often times where, well, in the past, before the past couple of years, where I was of the mindset that if you just raise your frequency high enough, if you can just get your frequency high enough, you can move through whatever the challenge is at hand, whatever that might be. And I discovered that that wasn't necessarily my experience. My experience is you're going to have to go through some hard stuff, and let's see how much you can remember your truth, your soul, your values, how to keep your energy intact, how to basically practice what I preach and teach around energy and intuition. You know, this is the world that I have operated in for the last 25 plus years, is to move through the world intuitively, to move through whatever the situation was and assess it from that energy level. I mean, that's the base of how I'm serving people. You know, no matter what it is they're building, I'm saying, let's look at it energetically and see what's going on beneath the surface so we can broaden the context beyond this small limited story of I'm blocked or I'm stuck here. And then let's tune in and help you learn how to tune in to the intuitive directive that is always speaking to you and how life is always guiding you from that intuitive perspective. I've had that experience. I've lived by that. But when I was in the hard part, it was really challenging and my energy felt quite compromised. And so I had to learn how to protect my energy in a completely different way. And I share that with you because when you're born to build the new, what happens is in the process of the build, regardless of whatever challenges you might face, whether you get stuck in doubt or procrastination or everything is going very smoothly for a while, no matter what the internal or external circumstances are, what happens when you're born to build the new and you're in the build of it is your light gets brighter. Like even on the days when you feel like, oh gosh, like I'm sure my light is not very bright today, it actually is. You might not see it, but it's in the act of building the new, of doing what you're here for, that you are energetically, cellularly strengthening who you are. And you are shining brighter and brighter. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't feel connected with it, it is the inevitable outcome of doing the work that you're here for. And we often feel that in the opposite kind of way. We often feel it in when we're not doing the build of what we know we're here for. We feel dimmer, like we're just more compromised. And both of those states attract energies that can compromise us, energies that we need to feel safe and protected from. So when you're in a compromised state and your light is dim, things that might not knock you over will knock you over. And let's make it super tangible, because I know energy, as we talk about it, can feel like a very intangible kind of thing. Like, well, what do you mean? Like, what exactly is energy? And there's many different ways that I can talk about it and love to talk about it, but I want to make it very tangible. And the most effective way that I know how to do so is either through people or places, because that's when we notice it the most. Is we get around certain people and we feel drained around them. Maybe they're a complainer, maybe they feel very heavy for some reason. We know immediately how we feel around certain people. Or alternatively, the energy of a place. We can walk into a place and just immediately know, oh, it doesn't feel right in here. Or it looks like everything is fine, but something is off. Like something doesn't match with who I am. For me, it's very, very pronounced, and it's also very specific. Like I can see energetically exactly what the issue is, which is how I work. I just zone right in on and name the thing, which is why, I often get tears of relief and I don't know. Yeah, mostly tears of relief, because I'm able to see the thing that we sense. It's like we sense energy, and I can see it and name it. And so it's such a relief and such a validation to go, I had this feeling that something wasn't quite right. And so when it comes to protecting our energy, if we're not doing our build, our light dims and becomes more compromised. So we pick up the energy of other people, of places that we're in that aren't very resonant with us. But it goes beyond that. It's where we're more affected by food or medicine or toxins. There's different ways that the energy of these things that we take for granted can often compromise us even more. And that's why one of the reasons why I think doing our build is so essential. It's like, yes, absolutely, it shifts the paradigm. yes, this is our soul's work and the larger role that we're here to play, but it also acts as protection, as health insurance, as joy, as alignment. So when we do our build, we're literally investing in the build of ourselves, and that protects our energy. And so as our light gets stronger and stronger and brighter in the build of what we're here to do, our energetic protection also strengthens. And this past weekend, I was having, I would say, a lot of thoughts that didn't feel like my thoughts. Have you ever had that happen where you think a thought and you're like, I would never think that. Like, why in the world, or why do I feel this emotion so strongly when there's nothing in my reality that's indicating I should feel this way? It's almost like your thoughts or your feelings can get hijacked, and they do energetically. That actually is a real thing. It can happen. So if you're feeling very much not like yourself, there's a reason why that's happening, and trust that. And this is part of why protecting your energy is so important. And so you begin to train yourself to become attuned to what is impacting you, what is helping you feel protected as you move through your day, what can help you protect your energy, because different things are going to affect different people differently. And so this requires you to pay attention, to invest your own awareness into yourself and see, are you the cause of your own energy drains? Like, do you need to protect your energy from yourself? Do you need to protect your energy from the environments and the places that you find yourself in? Are there certain people that you feel like you need more energetic protection from? And ultimately, there's part of me that still is invested in not liking to admit that it's important to protect our energy. There's part of me that's attached to this idea that, again, if our frequency is high enough or our light is bright enough, then there's nothing that we need to protect ourselves from. Like, our light will naturally protect us. And while I do agree with that as a general stance, we are living in an incredibly energetically diverse time, a very dynamic time where there's a lot that is changing within our systems, like our individual systems, our ability to sense energy, feel energy, perceive energy, to hear our intuition in a much louder and more succinct kind of way. There's a lot of shifts that are happening on that individual level. And there's a lot of energetic changes happening on a collective level as well. All at the same time, while there's a lot that is breaking down in the world, just on a basic physical systems and structures perspective, and that has an impact on our psyche, on our heart, on our thoughts around where we're headed as a collective, as a world, as a species. And so there's a lot of moving parts that are happening right now. And so the base of protecting your energy is meant to be a gentle and firm reminder that when you are born to build the new, doing your build will act as a protective shield. So if you are stuck right now, it's okay. If you are flowing right now, it's okay. Like, wherever you are, but if you can commit to your build and make that statement your own guiding light, know that that's doing double duty in building yourself and building your light, and also protecting your energy from all of the different shifts and changes that are happening on so many different levels right now. And I want you to really trust what you sense. Even if you think, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can admit this out loud to somebody else, or is this really happening, or what the heck is even going on, but I feel something. Trust that. Trust yourself, even if you can't articulate it yet, and allow yourself to do the build of what you're here for, knowing that it is protecting your energy. It is grounding you. It's helping you feel safe in your body, whether you're aware of it or not. And it is giving you a different sense of conviction. And here's what's super interesting to me around protecting your energy. I actually have a whole course. It is called Protect Your Energy. I did put it out a while ago, and you can find it on my website. Just go to vasmith.com/energy and you'll see all the courses that I have there. But one of the fascinating things I have found around protecting your energy, and this is directly related to the build of what you're here to do, to building the new, is your voice is one of the most powerful, protective shields that you can have energetically. And I want you to think about this in reverse for a moment. Think of the things that you have held back on saying, or the things that you've said that have then put you in a state of like questioning or doubt, like, oh, I should have said it this way, or oh, I can't believe I said that, or oh, I wish I would have said this. Or when you're just holding back on saying something when you know it just needs to come out of your mouth. And it's not that you shouldn't use, discernment and self-management when you speak. Absolutely. Of course you should. But what happens is we deplete ourselves energetically when we aren't using our voices. And you feel it. You'll feel it because you'll loop on the same story over and over again around what you said or how you should have said it or what you didn't say or whatever it is. And you can feel your life force energy and your light begin to go down. And then the next time you go to approach your build, the build of the new or your purpose work, you find that you're not as clear as you want to be, because you've diminished your own voice and you haven't allowed yourself to speak with the conviction and the clarity that you really do have within you. And then notice what happens when you do. When you start to speak, whether it's just to a friend, or you're recording your own podcast, or whatever it is that you're doing, that when you use your voice and you state whatever it is that is real and true for you, that becomes this really strong web of protection all around you. I know for myself that whenever I record a podcast, and I will say this. Whenever I record a podcast, I feel so strong during and after. I feel a little wobbly at the beginning sometimes. I will admit that. There are sometimes, hold on, I need some water. I don't edit these or pause. You get what you get. But at the beginning, there are these moments like before I start hit the record button on this podcast that I do feel a little bit of that wobble. But during and after, the strength that I feel and the light that I feel is such a boon to my energy and gives me such a sense of solidness and protection and alignment. So the things that would have knocked me over beforehand don't afterwards. And I feel more clear and more convicted around what it is that I stand for, what I talk and teach about, what I embody. And I'm able to implement those values in a different kind of way. So your voice is one of the most powerful tools that you can use for energetic protection, as is doing the build itself. So wherever you are on that continuum of, starting your purpose work, or in the middle of your purpose work, or rebranding your purpose work, like wherever you are in structuring your soul's work, in doing the build of what you're here for, know that that is one of the most potent things that you can do for protecting your energy from one sensitive person to another. And I am so sensitive energetically to all sorts of things. And this weekend really brought that home for me, of how I had stepped away from using my voice as a protection. I'd stepped away, as we should, right? We should be able to step away from our purpose work in the world and focus on other things. But I was focusing on other aspects of my life that were more depleting. And my energy felt so compromised. I was knocked over by so many different things. I was like, okay, we're going to lay down now and sleep that one off, take a little nap, or go sit in the sun and reboot the system here. But I realized that, wow, even though I have clarity and confidence about what I do and what I'm creating in this world, there are moments that when I'm not engaged with that on an active level, where my energy becomes compromised in such a way that it really actually knocked me over, because there is so much moving around. And I wanted to be that reminder to you, to help you remember that there are really simple ways that you can protect your energy. And it is an essential time for us to do so. Because for those of us that are born to build the new, we attract attention even when we don't mean to. We're wired differently. We have a different kind of design, a different kind of energy. And even when we hide, people notice us. And either they want to connect, or they're very repelled from connecting, or whatever. But we can't really be ignored, because we represent the new. And for some people, they find that very enlivening and exciting, and they want to, get all up in our energy because of it. And then other people, it can feel very threatening for them. Maybe they're attached to old ways of doing things, and just our presence, even if we don't say anything, they have a sense that we're trying to establish something different here. And that can feel very insecure for some people, right? So you really need to be conscious of how your energy, just by nature of who you are, what it might evoke in other people. And because we unconsciously shrink ourselves. And now is not the time for that. Now is the time for you to be very secure in who you are and to be building what you're here to build. But know that as you do, there will be energetic interference, and you do need to protect your energy. And these are two of the most powerful ways that you can. There's a whole lot more. If you do want to learn more, you can, again, go to vasmith.com/energy, and you'll see the Protect Your Energy course there, which is up and available. And then if you also want to start to activate your own self-leadership around energy and intuition, and how you can use that to build what it is that you're here to build, then join this week, vasmith.com/intuition, and be part of the intuition experiment. See what it sparks in your own life. See what synchronicities start to pop up for you. I've seen it happen in so many different groups that I've led over the years. And again, this is a texting group, so there's no commitment time-wise. There's no, you have to show up and participate in these certain ways. It's very open, because I am feeling and noticing, and you might know if you listen to the last podcast, that this is up for a lot of people right now. We're really trying to get a grip on how do we continue moving forward in the face of so many challenges within our own lives and within the larger collective. How do we move forward with clarity and conviction and confidence and commitment when there's all sorts of energetic in impact, right? Interference, and there's all sorts of energy moving around. And for those of you that aren't sensitive to energy, congratulations. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's on a continuum, right? Like, some of us are very, very sensitive to energy, and some of us aren't so much. And it's okay wherever we are. But I know that my people tend to be very sensitive to energy, generally speaking. And I also know, from having been in this field for over 2 decades and seeing what is unfolding from that energetic, intuitive perspective, if you aren't sensitive to energy now, you are likely going to be sensitive to energy not too long from now, because there is a lot changing within our systems. And it's very likely that you have somebody in your life that is sensitive to energy. And so these are different ways that they and you in the future can protect your energy. Use your voice and build what you're here for. Do aligned work, right livelihood, purpose work towards the build of the new. And with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back again soon with another episode, and I hope to see you in the intuition experiment starting at the end of this week. Take care.